Welcome to Cyberskillfarm, empowering IT professionals. I'm here right now with Grace and Timothy. So, hi guys, hello.
Hello.
Hi,
Hello.
hi.
If you get value from videos like this and want more, smash that like button and subscribe to get updates on the new content. If there's specific topic or skill in IT you want to learn, comment below and we'll check it out.
Hi. So, Timothy, going back to perhaps college, I know that you're at ECE. Is that right?
Yep.
ECE?
Yep. I took EC back in college.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. When you were going into college, was it your first choice, or were you choosing on some other courses as well? What made you decide to go into ECE at
Actually,
the beginning?
actually, my father chose EC for me
Wow. Yeah.
because I think I really have no idea what particular course that I want to pursue. I think yes, my father chose EC for me, but when I try to further look at the courses or the subject included in the whole degree, so I find it interesting because I want to also check how things work as as someone that's passionate with the technology itself. Yeah. So my three choices back in college is ECE, second computer engineering, third is economics. Because back in high school, I
Wow.
was interested in economics back then.
After graduation, ECE has a lot. You can actually specialize in a lot of areas. So, what made you decide to go into IT after your graduation?
Well,
Or was it
it
your first
was.
choice? Yeah.
I think I have shared it in other platforms like LinkedIn or Facebook. So back in college, I'm just an average student, you know, just barely passing as an engineering student. And I have really have noticed that my classmates or batchmates are really excelling in academics, like calculus. They got a grade of uno. Meanwhile, me, I got three. Okay, just barely passing. So back then in second year, second sem, I really thought of what would be my edge over my classmates after I graduate. So that's when I saw MNet, the a training center for Cisco back in second year. So I was just really fascinated with the equipment itself. I have really had no idea with Cisco or networking. I'm just really yeah, amazed with the looks of the equipment. So then I done my googling, done my research, and I have checked that it can be a field of career for ECE. That's when I started learning about Cisco networking. I actually enrolled right after summer, during summer, I mean, after second year, second sem. Then that's
Wow.
the start of my Cisco career. And yeah, huge
I
part of
see.
my of my career is my parents because they paid for everything. They paid for my
Yeah.
training,
Oh, very
my
supportive.
certification exams. Yes. It was um my father back then is an OFW, so in terms of finances, I really have no problem, and I think I have leveraged my school, my PUP, because I think back in PUP I only have almost 1,000% tuition fee. So I
Wow.
have leveraged it to my parents that you know my tuition fee is only almost 1,000. Maybe you can try to enroll me in a training center that I can use further in my studies.
So I find it quite interesting. It's actually amazing. Second year in
Yes,
college, you
second year.
already try to focus yourself into something. I remember in my second year, I really had no idea where I was going. So I really
Yeah,
think that this would be a good thing strategy on your part, even at the second year.
yeah, because I think a large part of it is because I joined an organization back in college where the alumni usually and go back into school, then share their experiences during work. And yeah, I mean, they have shared the job possibilities for ECE. So I was really exposed to a lot of different fields, like RF engineering, some others pursue semiconductor. So I on an early on an early onset, I was aware that ECE got low pay in semiconductor, in even in RF engineering, even though you pass the board exam. So I was really really focusing on what could be my advantage.
Let me
Yeah.
just emphasize this to our Cyberskillfarm community. So one, it's really important that we get exposure, as you've said, Timothy.
Mhm.
So yeah, it was really an advantage for you that you got exposed to a lot of careers from professionals visiting your college. Was that right?
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, yeah. So when you transitioned after college, when you how were you able to go to your first job? Was it directly a network engineering job role, or were there intermediary job roles that you had to experience before getting a network engineering position?
I was one of those fortunate that I got a network related job right away. I'm not in the NOC or level one type of network job. I'm more on the level two. So I'm more on troubleshooting, making configuration changes to, for example, failing over traffic from one site to another. So, yeah. So I work in a BPO, in a global BPO first. So I manage the back end of the data network of our Philippine sites, US, Canada, India, etc.
Wow.
Yes, yeah.
What was the thing? Yeah. Grace, do you have something? Do you have a question,
Yes.
Grace?
Knowing that since second year college, he is exposed to some networking concepts, so he already got the level two in the network career,
Yeah,
in his career.
I think I got the job through LinkedIn. I actually post that I'm looking for work. Then someone PM me that they are building a pioneer team for their level two network operations. So I think it was one of the use of LinkedIn to really connect with a lot of IT professionals.
Yes, connection
Yeah,
is very
actually, right.
important.
Yeah,
Yeah, right.
Mhm.
yeah, sure, Grace, go ahead.
Yes, I think yeah, connection is very important. Building relationship with other alumni, with other people there, especially in LinkedIn, you meet a lot of people who's in the same course or the same specialization as you.
Mhm. That's right.
So, Timothy, I actually read in one of your, I think it was a LinkedIn post. Grace, you shared it to me. And it said
Yeah.
that most of the people, because right now you transitioned from being a network engineer here in the Philippines, and you transitioned directly to become a engineer, cloud engineer there in a company in Australia. And you mentioned that usually the pattern is most people go first to Singapore before they go to
Yeah.
permanently migrate to Australia. So can you share a bit of us your story as to how you're able to transition
Transition. Yeah.
from the Philippines to where you are now?
Okay. So I I really use LinkedIn that much for able to me to
Ah,
really observe the behavior of Filipinos IT, because as we know, I think by now Singapore is one of those toughest to be a permanent resident. And yeah, even though they are really great when it comes to to the benefits, you'll see the infrastructure in terms of public transport. So my decision back then to go to Australia is uh, primarily drive of I only know this employer of mine to sponsor visa. So I really have no other option for
ah,
employers to apply to. So when I graduated back in 2015, I already got invited for an interview here for this employer for the same role actually. So uh, so I'm really targeting this company since then, since 2015. So from 2015 to 2019, I actually applied more than 20 times for this employer for different
wow.
positions. but I only got interviewed twice, one in
Ah,
2015 and one in 2019. And one pan pack, my interviewer back in 2015 became my interviewer also in 2019. So yeah, this was actually it was great to know that that interviewer is still in the company. Yeah, I mean I've known people that go to Singapore, then also go to different countries after that. I mean CCIE. Yeah, one of the things that I do in LinkedIn is I search for network engineer space, then a big tech company like Facebook or Google. Then I have observed that there's a lot of opportunities out there for network engineers, and yeah, there's a lot of also Filipinos.
going back a bit, so when it comes to the growth of your career, what role was training in your career? So you probably got certifications, and well, did it play a big part when you were starting, or was it more on the work experience along the way?
Certification did really help me land the job because I think it's one of those that you can leverage. I did not in my first job in the Philippines. I really the manager really noticed the certification. Wow, I mean, you have no experience, but you have CCNP, right? So, so
Yeah,
and I think I have leveraged it, and yeah, I think that's what make me land the role. And yeah, I mean, I actually did a lab exam in my first job so, for the interview. Uh, yeah, I'm able to pass it
wow,
somehow,
Oh,
barely. I mean, barely pass it. So
somehow.
yeah, yeah, it's actually top. I mean, the L3 network guy build the exam, so it's kind of based on their network, so it's kind of top. And also, yeah, I mean, when it comes to IT, certification is really a must to get your land on the interview. I mean, there's a lot of really good guys out there that don't have certifications, but for Filipinos, especially in the Philippines, is a must because recruiters or HR really put those title or abbreviations in the job requirements, and those are the words that the recruiters filter for in your resume to even get you an interview.
True, true, true.
Yep.
yes.
And also,
With your
yeah, sure, go ahead.
yeah, sure, sure. Please continue. Go ahead.
Okay. I don't have any prior cloud experience prior joining the company here in Australia. So it's really more of my foundation is networking. So I'm here as a cloud support engineer under the networking team. So in a day-to-day basis, I support customers that use the networking services of the cloud provider. So yeah.
And with
Mm.
your experience, what do you think are the essential skills? Because technology is rapidly evolving, it's changing all the time. The fundamentals are the same, but from your experience, if you're talking to someone who's new, who's starting out their career in IT, what do you think would be the essential uh, points when it comes to the skills?
Okay, it really depends, but
Yeah, yeah. From your
when I
perspective, yeah.
from my perspective, it really be more focused on the fundamentals, but I'll be inclining more on the networking side of things. I mean, if you want to focus on IT right now, you should master the fundamental like TCP/IP, Linux, Python, uh, Git, or software development. Because I think if I'm going to choose back my course back in college, I'll choose computer science or
Yeah.
because I
Me
think
too.
there's a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I just want to
Okay.
share that even there's a lot. Okay, I'm going to disclose some stuff. If you search for jobs in this cloud provider, you'll notice that they prefer those who know programming. I mean, in big tech companies like Facebook, Google, Netflix, you'll see job positions that are network, but they want you to know Python, you want to know automation. They don't really require you certification anymore, like CCIE or JNCIE or N expert certification. They just want you to know hardcore TCP/IP and Linux and Python, and that's it.
Wow.
And of
So
course,
that's really big.
you really want to also improve your communication skills. I think that's one of those one of those soft skills that you really have to harness over the years, because if you cannot communicate well to the C level or executives, I think that's all of your hard work. I think will your progress will be slow compared to others that has both.
Yes,
Yes,
I agree
yes.
with that.
So right now, actually, let me just share, Timothy. Grace is also a network engineer, and she's already a site reliability engineer, and they're requiring DevOps skills. So how important is it to have some sort of portfolio? For example, Git, when it comes to becoming a IT professional, probably in network or in cloud or in DevOps, is it really that crucial that you have a some sort of portfolio with you, such as Git, or is it something that's not really necessary currently?
Well, for me, it will be necessary to have some sort of GitHub project or GitHub website for yourself to future your projects. Because I think, I mean, if you don't have any experience it, right? I mean, when it comes to your work, you can actually, just um, think of anything that you want to build and that you can actually put in on your resume. Because we really value those projects, especially for recruiters. I mean, you don't want. I mean, if you don't have any prior experience about this, about Python, about setting up different technologies or different, building blocks on the network, I think um, having your own portfolio projects will be a good way to present your skills.
Yeah, yeah. And Timothy, sometimes some people say that aside from your skills, it's also your contacts. And you really mentioned that LinkedIn really helped you out. So, how much of it was really a part of your network or whom you know when it comes to the growth of your career? How much of it was really striving to be excellent in your technical skills? Because
Uh,
yeah, yeah.
it's hard to gauge that because I think I have my LinkedIn since 2013, 2012. That's when I got my LinkedIn set up, account created. Well, LinkedIn will launch the interview, but on how you perform in the actual interview is really up to your skills and up to your experience. Because I think I just want to share the rigorous interview process that we have in my current employer. We do have phone interview, and we do have phone interview is a 1 hour or almost an hour of technical interview where the interviewer will ask you a lot of technical questions in a span of 45 to 1 hour. And believe me that they will exhaust that 45 minutes or 1 hour to ask you a lot of questions. Then if you pass it, then you'll have the chance for the loop interview. The loop interview is composed of 4 interviewers in the same day, 45 minutes each. Okay. So
Wow.
they and same with phone interview, they'll exhaust that 45 minutes. So let's say it's like 3 hours in total. But you'll have a break after 2 interviewers, but it's a rigorous process. And yeah, it's kind of tough. I mean, I'm really grateful that I passed the interview. And the number of interviewers in the loop really depends on the level of the role you apply to. So, I mean, I'm just a bare minimum guy. I'm the lowest level, actually.
Yeah, but luckily you
Yeah.
passed.
Oh,
Yeah,
I
you
think that's
nailed
what.
it.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I actually I've leveraged my first interview. Actually, I mean, they have the same topics. So yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
the thing is, I think what's really amazing with your experience is that you were really persistent. Imagine you contacted them or applied, as you said, 20 times,
20
and
times.
out
Yeah.
of those times you had, yeah, and you had two interviews, and I think that's really it's really something an inspiration to our community. That's one we should really learn to be persistent and not give up, because some of us maybe after one application, then the employer does not reply to us and we just give up willy-nilly.
Mm.
If you're able to talk to yourself, somebody, to your younger self, perhaps 10 years ago, what advice would you give to your younger self? If there's really anything that you want to say to yourself.
Buy
Hello?
Bitcoin.
Yeah. I,
Buy
I just
Bitcoin.
repeat that. My Bitcoin.
My Bitcoin.
Buy Bitcoin.
Buy Bitcoin. Give
But
a
kidding
chat to
aside,
yourself and buy Bitcoin and lots of
Yeah,
it.
I saw that he is a trader also.
yeah, as by kidding aside, talking to my younger self, be patient. I guess that's the thing that I wanted to share to my younger self. Be patient. Be always kind. Be always kind. Don't be a dick. Because I have been, and it has really impacted my mental health. Be always kind. I mean, don't underestimate other people. Always try to help as much as you can. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
By the way, Timothy, thank you so much for that. Yeah, being patient and being kind.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
I
think
saw also
when
in
we
his
start off,
sorry.
we try to be, yeah. Sure, Grace. Sure, Grace, go ahead.
Yeah, I saw also in his personality the perseverance because I think the interviewer who interviewed him last 2015, so that yeah he improved a lot, the perseverance because he applied again many times.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. Yes, yes. And I think, what do you call this? As I mentioned earlier, when we try to start, it's like I don't know, Timothy, if it's a male hormone testosterone thing that when we start a certain career as an engineer, we try to prove ourselves that we are somehow way above the rest and stuff like that. So I think was that what you meant to say when you started your career. You try to, of course, we try to be competitive and become the best at what we do. Was that what you mean? Was that what you meant earlier?
Yes, yes. I'm actually I always thought I'm better than you guys. I should be paid more.
Ah,
Yeah, that's the my pitfall, and
yeah,
I am really grateful for my managers back then. They are really patient with me. Yeah, I mean, have good managers, guys. Have good managers.
Yeah,
yeah.
managers
Look,
impacted your personality.
yeah, yes, yes, and they really helped me a lot to realize a lot of things.
Okay,
I mean,
one more thing.
no matter how good you are, if your character is not really up to par, you'll never make it.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Timothy, just a side question. So, what was the team like? Because when we enter a certain position, there are new projects, new technologies. It's difficult to know everything and be good at everything. So, what was the collaboration like during your team and the transfer when it comes to transfer of knowledge and sharing information? How was it like before and now?
It's doing it from a fire hose, actually, and literally. Just kidding.
Ah,
Well,
became a firehouse.
Doing it from a firehouse. Because our company is known for releasing new services every quarter or every year. So there's a lot, there's a ton of things that you need to learn, especially when there's a new service, and the following day you get a high seb case about it. You haven't even studied. So I think we have wikis, we have knowledge articles, and I don't we have there's a lot of people that you can actually reach out to. I mean, that's really important that you have the confidence that you'll get someone in the back end to help you out if you face a case that is too difficult or over your technical knowledge. Yeah. So we have trainings, the usual thing. We have trainings, we have documentation internal. So
Uh,
that's the same.
yes, I think I have a question, but this
Hmm.
related to your job here. How did you transition yourself in this country? How did you transition with this job? Is there any people who help you in this position?
I actually have no relatives in Australia, so I'm kind of I rely on my LinkedIn connections as well, or in my page, and also Facebook friends that has they have relatives in Australia to because I almost did not make it here in Australia because of the POEA. Don't want to share. I mean, they make it tough for OFWs to get here. To have to be an official OFW. Uh, how I made the transition? Skill wise or
Skill wise,
more
yeah,
skill wise?
yeah.
Okay. Well, I don't think I have that much adjustment because I have the cloud support engineer job title, but I'm still in the networking. Okay. But what's the difference is that back in the Philippines I'm more on the back end. I don't really talk or deal with customers. So yeah, I mean that's the big difference that you really have to be more on the customer facing. You're going to answer live chats or live calls or chats that later on they will want you to join a call or team bridge or an outage to troubleshoot. So I'm more on the networking, cloud networking side of things, and not on the back end anymore. So so it's not a big of an adjustment actually. So it's really more on it's the same TCP/IP that runs on the network.
Yeah, it's
I
back on the
see.
basic. Yeah.
Yep, it's back on the basics. You just have a new fancy tools that you can use to troubleshoot, and it adds complexity. Uh,
Hey, Ray. Yeah.
Okay, so from my end, I just really like to thank you so much, Timothy, for sharing your time. And for everybody watching this, you can follow, connect, or do you have a blog, Timothy? Do you have a blog that you'd
no,
like to
no, no,
promote?
no, no. Just ping me
No.
on LinkedIn or Facebook. Just ask me questions. Feel free to ask me questions. Love to love to share my stories and love to help. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ah,
Thank you
And
so
I mean,
much, Timothy.
don't
And
don't be like me, okay? Don't be like me. Create your own path. Create your own success. I
yeah.
mean, I mean, don't
yes,
don't don't
yeah.
don't let my success, don't I mean each of us has his
Its
own
own
path,
Yes,
strength.
okay?
that's a good
Yeah,
path.
Has his
but
own strength,
True.
and
yes, I agree.
and yeah, I mean,
So what I mean to say is, yeah, we need to learn from each other, and that thank you so much for sharing your experience and tips you shared with us and to this community, to this channel. And we really dedicate this channel, Cyber Skill Farm, to empower other IT professionals. And again, Timothy, thank you so much for your
Thank
time.
you.
And
Thank you.
I think that's it for me. Grace, you have anything else to say? Thank you. Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
Thank
I'm
you.
saying
Timothy,
thank you. Thank you,
Grace, for
Timothy.
now. Bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye bye.